Things aren't looking good for Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. Right now, he's losing the intra-team battle as Charles Leclerc led the way in Pirelli's tyre test at Barcelona on Wednesday, clocking the fastest time among the Ferrari drivers. With Frederic Vasseur ready to enforce team orders this coming season, does this mean a sidekick role for the seven-time champion in 2025? Let's find out. The Scuderia duo took on testing duties for Pirelli over 2 days, with McLaren's Oscar Piastri also lending a hand to the tyre manufacturer. The test, held at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, was part of Pirelli's ongoing development programme for the new 2026 slick compounds, with the Italian brand dictating the run plan for all participants. Both Ferrari and McLaren rolled out modified versions of their 2024 cars, fine-tuned to mimic the downforce levels expected of the 2026 F1 machines, featuring a significant 20% reduction in downforce compared to 2025. Additionally, the 2026 tyres are narrower, with the front tyres trimmed by 25mm and the rears by 30mm. On Tuesday, it was Lewis Hamilton who edged out Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc, posting a 1 minute 15.93 seconds to beat the Monegasque by a mere 0.13 seconds in the SF24. But by the test's final day, Leclerc flipped the script, clocking the fastest time of the three, putting himself on top in the final showdown. Charles Leclerc completed 74 laps in the Pirelli tyre test, setting the fastest time of 1 minute 14.971 seconds, almost a full second ahead of McLaren's Oscar Piastri. Lewis Hamilton trailed behind, posting a 1 minute 16.759 seconds in the second Ferrari, almost 9/10 slower than his teammate. And that's after driving 152 laps, more than double Leclerc's. Hamilton's time was 0.8 seconds off his Tuesday best, while Leclerc made significant progress, improving by over a second from his previous session. Norris, who was quickest on Tuesday, had a time around 0.6 faster than Piastri's Wednesday effort. It's worth noting that while these times are interesting, they aren't directly comparable as each driver was working through different programs for Pirelli. Plus, testing requires a distinct skill set that differs from the cutthroat competition of a Grand Prix weekend. Pirelli's Mario Isola said of the session, "It was a very useful session, particularly when it came to providing a comparison between the various different constructions for next season, as well as experimenting with some compounds from the harder end of the range." The Barcelona circuit is known as one of the most demanding for the tyres in terms of the energy exerted and degradation. Therefore, the information we have gathered over these 2 busy days will be very important for the future development of this generation of tyres. It's a really demanding start to the year with 4 test sessions even before the season begins, and I want to thank all the teams that are working with us, because we know how busy they are at the moment. With the Barcelona test wrapped up, Pirelli is set to move on to Jerez for the next round of testing focused on the 2026 tyre constructions. Alpine will take the reins on February 13th and 14th, followed by McLaren and Mercedes, each getting a day of testing. After the official pre-season testing in Bahrain, Alpine and Williams will return for another Pirelli tyre test on March 2nd and 3rd, with both teams running both days to continue refining the new tyres ahead of the 2026 season. Lewis Hamilton deserves to secure a record 8th World Championship, but must hope that his move to Ferrari will reignite the pace that once defined his career. That's the view of Sky F1 pundit Naomi Schiff, who warns that unless Hamilton can turn things around at Ferrari, his F1 career could end on a sad note. Hamilton is set to activate a release clause in his Mercedes contract to join Ferrari from 2025, but his final season with Mercedes hasn't been without its highs and lows. While he clinched victories at Silverstone and Spa in his 12th season with the team, he also endured a tough year, suffering a 19-5 defeat to teammate George Russell. After a challenging weekend in Qatar, Hamilton openly admitted, "I'm definitely not fast anymore," and even revealed that he considered leaving Mercedes right after a frustrating Brazilian Grand Prix. The turbulent journey Hamilton faced in his final season with Mercedes has brought plenty of scrutiny as he gears up for a new chapter with Ferrari, all while chasing the record-breaking 8th World Championship that he deserves, according to Naomi Schiff. But whether Hamilton can rediscover the form needed to put himself back in that championship conversation is still uncertain. When Sky F1 presenter Simon Lazenby expressed how much fans would love to see Hamilton battling the younger drivers for a title once again, Schiff responded, "He's also not got a decade left in the sport. So it'd be sad to see Lewis do this last chapter of his career not the best possible way, not having the victories that he might want to have, not potentially even getting that 8th title that we all know that he deserves." So at the end of the day, I hope for him, that will be the switch at Ferrari, where all of a sudden the new car, the new setup of the car, maybe unlocks what we know that he has in him. It might just be that confidence that comes back. With Hamilton stepping into an entirely new environment at Ferrari and preparing to take on Charles Leclerc, widely regarded as one of the fastest drivers over a single lap, former F1 driver Anthony Davidson has issued a word of caution. He warns that Hamilton cannot afford to show even the slightest doubt in himself if he hopes to succeed in his next chapter with the Scuderia. You can't be doubting yourself, he stressed, when you're moving team as well. It's another thing that is hard at the best of times as a driver. When you move family, new team, new car, new drivers to race and fight against. And that's the time when you need supreme confidence. And it seems bizarre to be saying this about this 7-time world champion. Lewis Hamilton? Surely not, he'll be doubting himself as an athlete. Well, it's almost refreshing to learn that it does happen. But there may be hope for Lewis Hamilton yet. The 7-time champion is banking on the Scuderia to deliver a car capable of propelling him to a record-breaking 8th crown. But is it a realistic goal? According to Juan Pablo Montoya, absolutely. The Colombian racing veteran firmly believes that if Hamilton has the right machinery, not even Verstappen will be able to stop him. After a few seasons without a genuine shot at the title, Hamilton is more determined than ever to prove he's still a force to be reckoned with. Despite turning 40, Montoya sees parallels with Fernando Alonso, another veteran defying age, and insists Hamilton still has the speed to fight at the very top. Now it's up to Ferrari to give him the tools to make history. He told Crash.net, they still have 100% of their speed, but they will still somehow qualify just in the top 10. If the car is capable of winning, then they would be much higher. If Hamilton has a fast car this season, we'll see the old Hamilton from a few years ago, the Hamilton that nobody can beat, not even Max Verstappen. But the question for Ferrari is, how will they keep him motivated? Montoya doesn't hesitate to answer that question himself. While he believes Ferrari has a strong shot at securing a world title, he acknowledges that the road to victory won't be easy. Ferrari are putting all their eggs in the basket so they can compete this season. Mercedes don't have to risk much. McLaren have a huge opportunity to keep dominating before the 2026 regulation changes, where they could become average. Ferrari may have hit an unexpected roadblock as Lewis Hamilton has now maxed out his TPC allocation for 2025, having spent 4 days behind the wheel of the SF23 to get up to speed with the team's procedures. Under current regulations, drivers competing in the championship are restricted to 1,000 kilometers of testing in older cars over a maximum of 4 days. Ironically, this regulation was revised last year after Ferrari and other teams voiced concerns over Max Verstappen's TPC test at Imola in Red Bull's 2022 car. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur criticised the move at the time, calling it clear development on Red Bull's part, as it allowed Verstappen to compare his older title-winning car with the RB20, something Hamilton and Ferrari now find themselves restricted from doing. He told the media in Spain, "It's clearly development and what you could do with the young drivers that this permits another approach. It's giving them the opportunity to sometimes to do mileage for the simulator, and so to develop them. It's another approach. I think if we have to police it, we will have to split the two aspects. The day we are doing with our drivers and the days that we are doing with the non-racing drivers." Ferrari's concerns over Red Bull's TPC testing last year prompted the FIA to tighten the regulations ahead of the 2025 season, introducing stricter limits on mileage and test days. Under the revised sporting regulations published in December, drivers are now restricted to a maximum of 1,000 kilometers over 4 days when running older machinery, limiting teams' ability to troubleshoot with their current drivers. For Lewis Hamilton, it's over. While Ferrari has not disclosed his total mileage in the SF23, he has already used up all 4 permitted days, meaning he won't be able to take part in any further TPC testing. On the other hand, Ferrari still has 1 day remaining with Charles Leclerc, giving the Monegasque an extra opportunity to fine-tune his preparations before the season kicks off. That's it for today's news roundup. Comment your thoughts down below and, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.